Live at 9.
Good evening, our viewers. My name is Shiran Hochire, and tonight marks the last day of a 4-day special bulletin celebrating 18 years of NBS. My name is Shiran Hochire, and tonight we'll be telling you a lot of stories, including Mwanga Chivumbi's temporary long walk to freedom.
And I'm Solomon. Certainly. I'm Solomon Serena. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, the UPDF is 11,000 soldiers stronger. CDF General Muhoozi Kainerugaba says that the army is mightier to defend the country against its internal and external threats.
And voting patterns ahead of LC1 elections, party affiliations versus service delivery. The Katikkiro of Buganda, Charles Peter Maiga, is calling on Ugandans to make the right choices. My name is Mebo Twegumiezake. The headlines. In the headlines tonight.
Accordingly, the court granted the bail application subject to strict terms and conditions.
Celebrations as Mwanga Chivumbi and co-accused are granted bail.
Put away our differences and break down the walls of division. These are the results.
Now, there are those things that cannot be treated here, the surgery that cannot be done here.
Lukwago seeking bail for a second time following a critical medical report from Mulago Hospital.
He cannot go to India without having bail.
President Museveni renews his warning against corruption as he passes out 11,000 UPDF recruits.
Discipline and accountability will be insisted on.
Also coming up,
most of them missed out on the registration.
Ugandan South African returnees undergoing national ID registration.
Some of them have lived outside this country, Uganda, for a long period of time. So that's why they are missing out on these services.
And NBS's journey of 18 years. How the station's programming has undergone 3 major transformations.
Not everything that you get your hands on. You cannot believe it that NBS one time used to show boxing.
And the good news is
we are able to get all the contacts to treat patients.
Only 2 Ebola cases still admitted at isolation units as outbreak nears an end.
For outbreaks like Ebola, Uganda is one of the best countries that you have within the region.
This is NBS Live at 9.
From Karamoja to Kisoro, from Jinja all through to Hoima, from wherever you're watching in Uganda and beyond, welcome to NBS Live at 9. My name is Solomon Serwanja. Tonight we start from court, where the judge of the International Crimes Division of the High Court in Wandegea, Susan Okalanyi, has granted bail to former Butambala County Member of Parliament Muhammad Mwanga Chivumbi on a cash bail of 10 million shillings, while 16 of his co-accused have been each given have been granted bail on a cash bail of 1 million shillings. The group has been on remand since January this year on terrorism-related charges. That story starts us off tonight.
While delivering the ruling on the bail application filed by Mwanga Chivumbi and his 22 co-accused, the court registrar, Juliet Hatanga, first outlined the charges before court.
Terrorism is indeed a serious offense and that the charge carries a severe penalty. However, the court held that the seriousness of the offense alone is not sufficient to deny bail.
Since their arrest, they had remained on remand without their trial commencing, prompting them to apply for bail. In her ruling, Justice Susan Okalanyi said all the applicants had satisfactorily proved their places of residence through letters presented by their respective local council LC chairpersons. She first ruled that the prosecution's argument challenging the financial ability of the proposed sureties based on their bank account balances was misguided and not supported by the law. Justice Okalanyi also noted that the prosecution had filed to demonstrate how the accused would interfere with investigations if released on bail, saying the court could not rely on merely allegations.
The court, being satisfied that the applicants had generally demonstrated fixed place of abode within the court's jurisdiction, it also found that the respondents did not provide sufficient evidence to show that the applicants would abscond.
She emphasized that Constitution guarantees the right to apply for bail and that being charged with an offense does not mean a person is guilty.
The fact that investigations are ongoing does not by itself justify continued detention.
Of the 23 applicants, the judge granted bail to 17, sparking celebration among relatives and supporters who were present in court.
Accordingly, the court granted the bail application subject to strict terms and conditions.
So for whoever has contributed towards the release of the applicants, we appreciate.
When we put away our differences and break down the walls of division, the walls of the boxes of division, these are the results.
Mwanga Chivumbi was granted 10 million shillings cash bail, while the 16 other successful applicants were each granted 1 million cash bail. However, 6 applicants, Calvin Kayanja, Ryan Sewanyana, Brian Mwanguzi, Ivan Akankwata, Yusuf Chiwanuka, and Brian Owori were denied bail because of errors in their surety documents. The judge allowed them to return to court on 13th July with 1 additional surety each.
Let's now take a look at Mwanga Chivumbi's long journey to bail from the day he was arrested and arraigned in court. Mabel, can you take us away?
Yes. And of course, this event takes us back to January 15th of 2026. At the beginning of this year, the former Tambala Member of Parliament, that's Mohammed Mwanga Chivumbi, was arrested following election-related violence allegations.
Now, on the 23rd of January, he made his first court appearance, and he appeared before Butambala Magistrates Court, and he was charged alone with terrorism.
Okay, and of course, after those specific charges, we moved to February 10th of 2026. The charge sheet was actually amended, and prosecution added 24 more suspects on the charge sheet, and the state alleged that they were Chivumbi's election agents.
And now on the 12th of April 2026, his age, there was an age verification dispute. Court discovers 2 accused may be minors. That was Wilson Muyinda and Paul Mawanda, and they were sent for age verification. And the report confirms that Muyinda was a juvenile and Mawanda was 18. The magistrate ordered both taken to Naguru remand home.
Yeah, a reminder that this was on April 12th. But later on 28th, of course, of this year, then the court questioned prosecution delays. And among these, they were saying that the case file was returned to police for review. And then, of course, Mwanga Chivumbi's defense also objected to further delays. In addition to that, there were also claims of lawyers being changed, denied by the accused persons.
That's right. And we moved on quickly to May 15th, where prosecution ordered to prepare commuter documents, I beg your pardon. And Magistrate Sejemba orders prosecution to submit documents to transfer case to the High Court. But the prosecution failed to meet the directive. Okay,
now that's 2 months before today. And in June of 26, Mwanga Chivumbi applies for bail as we're closing in, files bail application before the High Court, and of course presented the leader of opposition Joel Senyonyi and NUP's Lewis Lubongoya and Yasin Lutaya as sureties.
Now that's June 2026, and now today, July the 9th, 2026, Chivumbi granted bail. Justice Susan Okalanyi grants Chivumbi 10 million cash bail, 16 co-accused each granted 1 million cash bail, and 6 others allowed to return after correcting surety document errors.
Yes, you're still watching NBS Live at 9. We were chronicling from January 15th. Mwanga Chivumbi's long walk to freedom.
That's right. Let's move on now. Former Kampala Lord Mayor Kwago is seeking bail for a second time amid ailing health following a critical medical report from Mulago National Referral Hospital. After his initial application was rejected by the Machindia Magistrates Court over concerns of potential witness interference, the Kwago's legal team, led by Medad Lubega Segona, has moved to the High Court for an emergency bail application.
Days after Mulago National Referral Hospital told court that former Kampala Lord Mayor Erias Lukwago condition requires specialized treatment in India, his lawyers have returned to court seeking his temporary release. Lawyer Medad Segona argues that bail is the only option to address Lukwago's worsening health.
The ultimate solution is only if he is granted bail, because he cannot go to India without having bail. So we have applied for bail again in the High Court.
Segona indicates that while the first bail application was denied, the new application has been based on the latest report from Mulago National Referral Hospital Executive Director, Dr. Rose Byanyima. In her report, Dr. Byanyima stated that the condition can only be managed in India, contrary to prisons' claims that they have the ability to treat Lukwago.
Now it is clear he cannot receive treatment locally, except for those that Mulago is able to treat. And what Mulago is able to treat, they did their work. We are grateful to them. Now there are those things that cannot be treated here, the surgery that cannot be done here, the diagnosis that cannot be done here, which can only be done by his primary spinal surgeon who handled the problem previously.
He warns that Lukwago's life is in severe danger inside Luzira prisons, revealing that crucial medical gear, including a tailor-made therapeutic pillow required for his spinal condition, was dismantled by prison wardens during a security search. This are now hoping against hope that the second bail application can be granted, warning that short of that, the state could be left to try a dead body.
We will not rest until either he's out and is receiving treatment, or maybe until he dies in prison, because there are two options.
With the Mulago Hospital report explicitly highlighting limitations in local treatment for his advanced spinal and respiratory complications, all eyes now turn to the court. The defense maintains that granting bail is the only way to save Lukwago's life.
Now turning your attention to the UPDF pass out, during which President Yoweri Museveni renewed his warning against corruption, saying his current term will not tolerate the vice because it undermines Uganda's economic transformation. The president was speaking during the pass out ceremony of more than 11,000 UPDF recruits at the basic military training school in Kaweweta, Nakaseke district. The Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, also warned politicians and sections of the media he accused of undermining the country, saying those responsible would face consequences.
The aircraft carrying the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, arrived shortly after 11 a.m., followed by President Yoweri Museveni, the Commander-in-Chief and Chief Guest, who arrived at the UPDF Basic Military Training School in Kaweweta, Nakaseke district. The ceremony brought together recruits from 5 UPDF training schools across the country. Besides Kaweweta, the pass-out involves Olelim, Labodwong, Butiaba and Ruhenjere Training School through a live link. A total of 11,948 recruits graduated, including about 1,000 trainees from the Central African Republic. The Commander-in-Chief then inspected the parade. Addressing the recruits, the Chief of Defense Forces, General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, said the military remains committed to supporting Uganda's ambition of growing its economy to $500 billion. He warned that corruption and acts of sabotage would not be tolerated.
Negative elements against our country. The news is that we will not permit their shenanigans. We, for instance, can no longer afford the widespread public malaise over systemic corruption and poor service delivery in our country. We cannot.
General Muhoozi also accused some politicians and sections of the media he termed as agents of foreign interests of undermining the country and serving foreign interests, warning that those involved would face consequences.
And shall not tolerate agents of foreign interests who work secretly to weaken the country's progress. The impunity within certain elements of Uganda's political class and media directly impacts the country's security.
President Museveni congratulated the recruits upon completing their training, saying his current term requires leaders to work with integrity and accountability. He commended General Muhoozi for his leadership of the army.
But we are realizing now
realized a lot, but would have realized more if it was not for some of our people who tend to sleep. Therefore, discipline and accountability will be insisted on.
The president said government will continue focusing on economic growth, arguing that a strong economy is essential for a strong military. He added that fighting corruption and misuse of public resources remains key to achieving this goal.
A strong and modern economy in the four sectors: commerce, agriculture, manufacturing.
Museveni further urged Ugandans to elect honest leaders in the upcoming village elections, those that will play a role in fighting corruption.
So elect leaders who will help to fight corruption. For people who are
You're watching NBS Live at 9 from the Political Command Center. Now, the National Unity Platform has warned its supporters facing criminal charges from 2021 and the 2026 general election against accepting plea bargain agreements without fully understanding the legal implications. In a statement posted on the party's official X account, NUP says that it is concerned about the conditions under which some of its supporters are being persuaded to plead guilty in exchange for freedom. The party argues that such agreements could have lasting legal consequences, while also weakening its long-standing position that the charges are politically motivated. Tonight we speak with former President of the Uganda Law Society, Francis Gimara, joins us live. Francis, where are you at? Okay, let's bring Francis on. All right, Francis, thanks so much for joining us on NBS Live at 9. Frank, plea bargain. I remember this was something that the late Odoki started to reduce on the case backlog. So many people they're in different prisons, in Luzira, in different prisons across the country because of case backlog. They are still on remand. Many of them have not been brought to court. They've been there for years. For example, some of these NUP supporters that have been highlighted and spotlighted by the National Unity Platform party. Plea bargain, is it working?
Good evening, Canarian viewers. Let me say that plea bargain, as designed in the rules that establish plea bargaining, should work, because it is a process whereby the accused voluntarily enters into an agreement with the state to make concessions around the offenses that they have been accused of, with the aim of having either the sentence reduced or any other negotiation that they arrive with the prosecution. Now, let me make it very clear that you only have an effective plea bargain process when the rights of the accused are respected. It cannot be driven by the need to clear case backlog. it must be driven by an effective criminal justice system anchored on the Constitution of Uganda, one that respects rights, one where the accused voluntarily bargains based on evidence that has been adduced by the state. So, for it to be effective, the evidence must be disclosed, it must be ready, and the accused must have legal representation. They must voluntarily, based on what the prosecution has adduced, then make the decision themselves again, that based on the evidence that I have seen now, I would like to enter a plea bargain with the state. So the process then unfolds, and when they have concluded by an agreement, then the court comes in again to interrogate the process and confirm the bargain between the prosecution and the accused person.
All right, Francis, let me come in.
That process is anchored on the rights of the accused.
Okay.
So we have to be careful that it is not presented as the magic wand for the failing criminal justice system.
Mr. Gimara, let me come in.
We must first fix.
Can I just come in and just do a follow-up here? Francis, let me just come in and do a follow-up here. I mean, in this circumstance, for example, where you have, the NUP supporters who have been in jail from 2021, some of them have, they have been on remand for all these years. They have not been brought to court. The full trial hasn't taken place. The National Unity Platform says they are politically motivated cases. And yet you're talking to a vulnerable accused in jail who has waited 5 years plus to go to court. They are vulnerable. So the principles of plea bargaining in such a case are put on the scale of balance with the people who have overstayed in prison. In such a circumstance, what would you advise your client? I mean, you're a lawyer. Would you rather say, I am guilty, they remove the number of years that you've been in jail and set you free? Or would you insist and say, I'm not guilty, and stay in jail until when your time to come to court comes? It's a thin line, isn't it?
Let's first start with the consequences of a criminal trial process on an individual. If you admit, then forever you will have a record, a criminal record on your file and in anything you do. So as lawyers, the first thing we need our clients to understand are the consequences of that admission. It's not something that is simple, but you need to arrive at that admission based on the process. So before we wave plea bargain as a magic wand, the criminal process itself must work backwards. And it doesn't matter who is brought in court, but we need to interrogate the criminal justice system in this country. Is it working as anticipated in our constitution? If you asked me, there are so many challenges. Because you see, today, there is a rush to take people to prison. There is a rush to take people for remand, to remand people. But we need to ask ourselves that the congestion in the prisons, you know what informs that congestion? We go back to the criminal justice system from arrests through investigations, through the pre-criminal trial proceedings. Is it thorough and robust? My question is that we need a very comprehensive review of the criminal justice system and move it from being arrest and remand happy to one that emphasizes the rights of the citizen as outlined in Chapter 4 of the Constitution. And in this, I recommend that the first thing to do is let's fix the investigation arm, that people, before they are arrested, that the investigations are thorough and robust. There's definitely some improvement in the way CID is being reorganized, but they should move to what ordinarily is expected of a thorough investigation system. Arrest only when you are very sure of the evidence, and because when you arrest with evidence, then it is very easy for you to commence the prosecution of an individual, because then you have gathered sufficient evidence. Because most of these cases delay at the process of disclosure. At the disclosure, the evidence is not ready, it's not sufficient, and what do we see? We then see that prisoners remain in jail for a long time, such that when this whole thing of plea bargain comes in, people begin then to say, I think I am tired of being in jail. I'm not being taken to court. Let me plea bargain and get out of prison. Now, that in itself is wrong. A plea bargain must be voluntary. You must look at the evidence disclosed, and then you say, based on this evidence, I'm going to be locked up. Therefore, let me enter into a plea bargain so that I get a lesser sentence. So I think we need to reform the criminal justice system. Plea bargain is a wonderful system, but the way it is being done now needs a lot of rethink, in my view.
Francis Gimara, thank you so much for speaking with us. Much appreciated. Francis Gimara is former president for the Uganda Law Society. You're watching NBS Live at 9. We have a lot in stock for you, including...
More to come, brought to you by
Global Paint! How? For the seating. For us, we use Global Mat.
Global Paint, a reliable product.
All right, you're watching NBS Live at 9. Let's go back to one of our top stories where the National Unity Platform, I think that one is done, but let me just go back to those who have watched NBS for quite a long, it's been an 18-year journey with NBS Television as we celebrate all these different milestones. That's a story that will be coming up, so keep it NBS Live at 9.
MTN voice bundle. Load. Hey. Hello, Mama. Hey, it is me, your son, Opio. Hey, now, Mama, listen to me. MTN has the offer. Yes, it has the offer. You load from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Now, they have free MTN to MTN minutes. And those minutes are there all day. So you load, you'll thank me later. Hey, Mama.
Load an MTN voice bundle between 7 a.m. and 8 a.m. and get 3 free MTN to MTN minutes valid all day. Dial *100 *21# and get your free minutes bully daily. Free your fire with free minutes from MTN. Together, our connection is unstoppable. MTN.
Life unfolds in chapters. Through many of these chapters, Jubilee has been present. But life does not happen in separate chapters, and protection should not be separate either. Two journeys have become one. Jubilee Life and Jubilee are now one. Here for every chapter, together full down. Jubilee Life Insurance Company of Uganda is regulated by the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda.
Why pay for self-service repairs? Say goodbye to hidden costs and hello to peace of mind of a brand new start. Discover the Suzuki range of unmatched, fuel-efficient and reliable options. From the iconic Jimny to the new Cross Hybrid. Find the perfect blend of style and world-class efficiency. Upgrade today and enjoy 1 year of free fuel and comprehensive insurance, plus 2 years of free service and a 3-year warranty. Trade in your current car or choose financing to start driving as you pay installments. Don't wait. Visit the Suzuki showroom today or call 0800-211-033 to get started.
Hello, Mr. Mkasa.
Hello, how are you?
I'm okay, sir. Are you the broker?
The original one.
I was told you have very good rentals.
That is right. How many bedrooms do you want?
I want 3 bedrooms.
Okay, did I tell you of the price?
Yes, of course. 500,000.
Ah, no. This side, the salary went a bit high.
Why?
Because the paint we use is of good quality. So the place gained the value.
Which paint?
Global paint.
How?
For the ceiling, for us we use Global Mat. And for the inside walls, we use Global Silk Vinyl.
Okay, tell me about the outside walls.
Outside we use Global Weather Coat Emulsion so that the walls don't peel.
I'm really impressed. The precision you put while painting, I'm willing to pay any amount.
That is true, because here for us quality is paramount and the place becomes humidity.
Global Paint, a reliable product. There is a new era of elegance and it begins at your event. At Peno Events, we have upgraded with fresh, modern, stylish event pieces designed to transform any space into a masterpiece. From luxury tents to elegant furniture to premium mobile washrooms, hand wash stations, lounge sets, parasols, wooden chairs, modern chair set, banquet setup. Peno Events, safe, reliable, stylish. Book now.
If whiskey could talk, Johnny Walker Black Label would sing. With notes that only come with 12 years in a barrel. Sweet, smooth toffee, rich fruit, and a touch of smoke. Tastes as good as it sounds.
Malayuni Pride Bank. It is so easy. You just have to maintain a minimum monthly balance of 100K and we'll give you health insurance for free. The bigger the balance, the bigger the benefits. Visit a nearby branch or call 0800 333 999 to learn more.
Pride Bank. Your growth is our pride.
Welcome back from that short break. Live at 9 continues, and in another of the day's top stories, government has commenced the registration and issuance of national identity cards to Ugandans recently repatriated from South Africa as part of a comprehensive program to facilitate their reintegration into society following their return from South Africa. The exercise being conducted by the National Identification and Registration Authority at the National Leadership Institute Chankwanzi targets more than 700 Ugandans who have returned home since last Friday under a government-led evacuation program.
We have over 700 plus and we are expecting more to come, and of which majority are not the Because group. They've been in South Africa doing different businesses. And that's why you can see that majority are Uganda speakers.
Commissioner of the National Secretariat for Patriotism Corps, NSPC, Ms. Helen Seku, said bringing NERA services directly to the rehabilitation center was a deliberate intervention to ensure that none of the returnees is excluded from accessing government services.
Most of them were complaining that they've been the IDs came here when for them they were in South Africa. So we said, since you're our visitors and you're newcomers, we have to welcome you with everything on to find you where you are.
Besides acquiring national IDs, the returnees are receiving trauma counseling, psychological support, ideological orientation, and practical training on government wealth creation initiatives to enable them to rebuild their lives. She revealed that several government agencies, including the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, URSB, mobile telecommunications companies, and financial institutions, have offered services at Nali to simplify the returnees' transition back into normal life. The returnees are undergoing a structured program focusing on patriotism, entrepreneurship, agriculture, financial literacy and government development programs such as a parish development model and Emyoga, among others.
On our programs, we have brought different speakers, like the PDM. How should they benefit from PDM as returnees? We have also brought a Emyoga group. They've already talked to them. We have brought local government, the opportunities in the communities.
According to Ms. Seku, the objective is to ensure that the returnees leave Chankwanzi equipped with knowledge, skills, and information that will enable them to earn sustainable livelihoods instead of seeking opportunities abroad under difficult circumstances.
To become ideologically aligned, to be patriotic enough, to love their country, to realize that East or West home is the best.
She noted that many of the returnees arrived at the institute emotionally distressed after losing businesses, employment, and property during the attacks in South Africa.
We do not want them to go empty-headed and empty-handed.
The senior registration officer at NIRA, Captain Darius Turiahikayo, said the registration exercise has progressed smoothly since it began earlier this week at the center. With more than 410, including adults and children, already registered, he assured the returnees that all eligible applicants would receive their national identity cards before leaving Chankwanzi.
Out of the 683 communities who have returned, we have so far done 410, inclusive of adults above 18, both male and female, and children, because, as NIRA, we are supposed to register everyone from 0 years.
Ms. Seku commended President Yoweri Museveni for directing government institutions to support the repatriation and reintegration exercise. She described the returnees as special visitors of the president and revealed that the head of state is expected to meet them during the program's closing ceremony on July 17, 2026.
On to a story of hope. With only 2 Ebola patients still receiving treatment, Uganda's latest outbreak is nearing an end. But beyond the numbers lies a remarkable story of scientific progress, faster diagnosis, stronger surveillance, and lessons that could reshape how the world prepares for future epidemics. Zahara Namuli reports.
When Ebola was confirmed early this year, health officials knew they were racing against time. Every missed contact could spark another chain of transmission, yet every delayed diagnosis could cost lives. Every rumor had the potential to spread faster than the virus itself.
It's different from how other countries or our neighbors, or to be very specific, how DRC maybe has managed the outbreak. Our strength is in recognizing danger quickly, and ability of a country to quickly recognize that there is a problem in the country, and so we must keep everybody well informed of the problem.
Authorities mounted one of the country's fastest and most coordinated outbreak responses yet, drawing on lessons from previous epidemics to stop the virus before it could spread widely.
As soon as we detected and were able to get the patients, or to detected, confirm the outbreak, we quickly moved the patients to an appropriate isolation facility.
The determination was built on years of experience, from the Ebola outbreak in Gulu in 2000 to Bundibujo and Muvende in 2022. Every outbreak has strengthened Uganda's epidemic response.
I think we are much more prepared than we were January 2025. We were much more prepared than we were in October 2022. And actually, we are much better if anything happens ahead of us. But a key thing for us is to ensure that we limit the outbreaks to be small.
Health officials recall a time when Ebola samples had to be transported outside the country, delaying confirmation and response. Today, Uganda can confirm Ebola within 4 to 6 hours, allowing treatment, contact tracing, and public health interventions to begin almost immediately. During case management, many Ebola patients developed serious kidney-related complications, presenting new challenges for frontline health workers.
Much as there remains residual kidney injury, but at least in immediate terms, the patients are out of danger.
Beyond patient care, the Ministry of Health is strengthening the scientific backbone of outbreak response, working with the Interdisciplinary Consortium for Epidemics Research. The ministry is enhancing the operations of the Scientific Advisory Committee to ensure future outbreak responses are increasingly guided by locally generated evidence, multidisciplinary expertise, and operational research.
Working closely with partners to develop a vaccine and potentially the building blocks of a vaccine. And we see not only that, defining and actually hoping to refine some of the protocols, the treatment protocols.
So we are now at the stage where we have received some wet material to start doing in vitro studies and animal studies. But I have to emphasize, vaccine research and any other drug development is a long process. It really takes time, and sometimes you succeed. If you don't succeed, you improve and go back.
But even as Uganda strengthened its scientific response, it found itself confronting another challenge, the international stigma. Despite the outbreak remaining geographically contained, several countries imposed travel restrictions on Uganda. Health officials argue that countries which detect and report outbreaks early should be supported, not penalized, warning that unnecessary restrictions risk discouraging transparency during future public health emergencies.
As countries like Uganda openly come out and let them know what's happening in their countries, and you come up with sanctions, it has longer-term effects on how public health will be structured in many countries.
Even after the 2 patients still admitted in the Ebola treatment unit are finally discharged, this does not mean the country is actually free from Ebola, because the threat is still high from the Democratic Republic of Congo. This, however, calls for continued surveillance from the Ministry of Health to make sure that there are no more imported cases. Zahara Namuli, NBS, Live at 9.
Zahara Namuli there reporting for us. You're watching NBS Live at 9. Now, those that have walked the 18-year journey with NBS Television say that the station's programming has undergone 3 major transformations, each driven by different factors. At the center of every change, however, has been the audience, whose feedback has continuously shaped the decisions made by the programming team. They say that as the media landscape continues to evolve, NBS must now prioritize modern innovation and innovative programming in order to maintain its position as the leading television broadcaster in Africa.
Programming is one of the most important pillars in retaining television audiences. As NBS marks 18 years on air, the station boasts of a diverse programming schedule that spans across from news, current affairs, entertainment, sport, religion, and lifestyle content. This programming structure has evolved significantly over the past 18 years, with several strategic changes that have transformed the station's broadcast schedule. Joe Chigozi served as the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of NBS Television, and out of the 18-year journey, Chigozi served for 14 years. He says that in 2008, the station entered a highly competitive television market where numerous challenges existed, particularly during its first 5 years.
So NBS was a Johnny come lately. So to be honest with you, we were just trying to test the waters at the time. In fact, if you ask me which programs are very good, even our own staff could not remember them.
After its 5 years, NBS underwent its first major programming overhaul.
Technology playing a key role. That was one. The coming of the pop. You know, sometimes you need events to define yourself.
Several programs were discontinued as the station shifted its focus towards strengthening current affairs delivery and live broadcasting. Chigozi says Uganda's migration from analog to digital broadcasting also significantly boosted NBS programming by expanding the station's reach and improving audience access.
Or the advantage of other channels ceased to be, coverage. So coverage was unified by digital migration.
Chris Wanobere, who has headed programming at NBS throughout the station's 18-year journey, says the second phase of transformation placed greater emphasis on live broadcasting and strengthening viewer loyalty.
Then the evening always had entertainment,
like the Big Deal Show before it evolved into After 5. And then the evening departs also had a little bit of news and general entertainment shows.
During this second phase, programs as such as TT Show, NBS Kids, Omosono, School Times were phased out, while others including Ensinebiayo, One-on-One with Tamale Mirundi among others, were strengthened. For news programming, Platinum News at 8 p.m. and the 9 p.m. Luganda News Bulletin Amawulire Kusatu were discontinued and replaced with Sunset News at 7 p.m. and Amasengeje at 9 p.m. And as part of the transformation, the station created the Agembobya Luganda News Bulletin as well as Wagategede to ensure that every category of a viewer was well served. To further improve programming, the Luganda Bulletin Amasengeje was later moved from 9 p.m. to 7 p.m., while the English News Bulletin was shifted to 9 p.m. under its new brand Live at 9 with even newer talent.
The time has come for the most comprehensive bulletin.
Some of the programs that have survived throughout the 18-year history include Morning Breeze, Mission 316 by Olivia Ziwa, KUT that later rebranded to KURT, Barometer and Youth Voice.
Next 18 years would require a lot of innovation, but also doing a lot of research in what kind of content that would really suit the generation that we have.